The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler, October 21st, Saints Ursula and her companions, Virgins and Martyrs. Middle of the 5th Age, when the pagan Saxons laid waste our island from sea to sea, many of its old British inhabitants fled into Gaul and settled in Armorica, since called, from them, Little Britain. Others took shelter in the Netherlands and had a settlement near the mouth of the Rhine, at a castle called Brittenberg, as appears from ancient monuments and Belgic historians produced by Usher. These holy martyrs seem to have left Britain about that time, and to have met a glorious death in defense of their virginity from the army of the Huns, which in the 5th Age plundered that country, and carried fire and the sword wherever they came. It is agreed that they came originally from Britain, and Ursula was the conductor and encourager of this holy troop. Though their leaders were certainly virgins, it is not improbable that some of this company had been engaged in a married state. Sigebert's chronicle places their martyrdom in 453. It happened near the lower Rhine, and they were buried at Cologne, where, according to the custom of those early ages, a great church was built over their tombs, which was very famous in 643, when St. Cunibert was chosen archbishop in it. St. Anno, who was bishop of Cologne in the 11th Age, out of devotion to these holy martyrs, was wont to watch whole nights in this church in prayer at their tombs, which have been illustrated by many miracles. These martyrs have been honored by the faithful for many ages with extraordinary devotion in this part of Christendom. Saint Ursula, who was the mistress and guide to heaven to so many holy maidens, whom she animated to the heroic practice of virtue, conducted to the glorious crown of martyrdom, and presented spotless to Christ, is regarded as a model and patroness by those who undertake to train up youth in the sentiments and practice of piety and religion. She is patroness of the famous College of Sorbonne and titular saint of that church. Several religious establishments have been erected under her name and patronage for the virtuous education of young ladies. The Ursulines were instituted in Italy for this great and important end by Blessed Angela of Brescia in 1537, approved by Paul III in 1544, and obliged to enclosure and declared a religious order under the rule of St. Augustine by Gregory XIII in 1572 at the solicitation of St. Charles Borromeo, who exceedingly promoted this holy institute. The first monastery of this order in France was founded at Paris in 1611 by Madame Magdalene Lhuillier, by marriage de Sainte-Beuve. Before this, the pious mother Anne de Xantong of Dijon had instituted in Franche-Comté in 1606 a religious congregation of Ursulines for the like purpose, which is settled in many parts of France, in which strict enclosure is not commanded. Nothing, whether in a civil or religious view, is more important in the Republic of mankind than a proper and religious education of youth, nor do any establishments deserve equal attention and encouragement among men with those which are religiously and wisely calculated for this great end. Yet alas, is anything in the world more neglected either by parents at home or by the wrong methods which are too frequently pursued in the very nurseries which are founded for training up youth? A detail would be too long for this place. There is certainly no duty which requires more virtue, prudence, and experience, or which parents, tutors, masters, mistresses, and others are bound more diligently to study in its numberless branches. But it is the height of our misfortune that there is scarce a person in the world, howsoever unqualified, who does not think it an easy task, and look upon himself as equal to it, who is not ready to undertake it without reflection, and who, consequently, is not supinely careless both in studying and discharging its obligations. Though no employment more essentially requires an extensive knowledge of all duties of human nature and its necessary accomplishments, the utmost application, attention, and patience, the most consummate prudence and virtue, and an extraordinary succor of divine light and grace.